Hey everyone, thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm your co-host, Ralph, and I am joined here by Chris and our guest tonight, Malcolm. So Cal, as you might notice, is not here with us tonight. We wish him well. He will be here with us next week. Here on the Breathe Easy podcast, we believe by facilitating culturally sensitive conversations, we can help destigmatize mental health, right? And we believe that it has multiple benefits, such as reducing suicide rates, keeping families together, and improving the psychological safety within our communities. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Do us a favor and go to Instagram and follow our page at Breathe Easy Media. If you are on YouTube right now watching this live, go ahead and like the page, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when we go live next time, you would know exactly what is happening. You definitely don't want to miss out on any one of our future podcasts. And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page. Again, share. All of this helps us do the work of destigmatizing mental health. So shout outs to those of you guys who are already in our lives. We'll do another shout out a little bit later. We have a rich show for you tonight, but in true Breathe Easy tradition, we're going to roll into our health check.
All right, y'all. So y'all know what it is. We like to start out with a heat check on each other, and we check on each other in 3 different areas. The first area being mental, second area being family, and the third area being business. Business could be work, it could be your side hustle, it could be whatever you want it to be. So I'll kick it off tonight, so I'll start with business. Business, I would say, is at an 8 for me. Things are, moving and grooving. Nothing really new going on. Everything's pretty smooth. So I would rank that a solid 8. Family's doing good. We just booked a flight out to see my brother. So we're excited about that. So for the first time ever, I'm going to give family a 10 because I'm super excited to see my brother fly out, spend some time with him, his wife, and of course, I'm flying out the wife too. And then mental, if you had asked me before the show started, I would have said like a 6 or 7. But now that we're on here live, I'm going to give that a solid 9 rating as well. Of course, we're thinking about Cal. We're missing him tonight. But we've got, Malcolm here, and I think he's going to share some great information with us and our guest.
Please, Malcolm, by all means, if you wouldn't mind.
By me? Oh, okay. So business, I'm with Chris. I'm about an 8. I'm re-energized. I'm ready to continue to make a difference in people's lives. Family, I'm at about a 7. I'm at about a 7. I'm looking forward to this weekend going back out to West Texas to see some family. My nephew is graduating from high school, so I'm excited about that. And then you said mental was the third part.
Yeah.
Mental. Let's go 8. I'm sweating up under here, so I'm kind of trying to relax a little bit. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, you're gonna be great, Malcolm. You're gonna be great, man.
Yeah, and I was telling him earlier before we got on, he has the honor of being our first guest. So
yeah,
he will forever go down in infamy as being number one. Can't
Yo, we
nobody-
gotta get him a trophy or something for that, man. Yeah, that's the number one, right? Ain't no one before you, man.
Yeah.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah. So what about you, Ralph?
Oh man, so let's go with family. I'm gonna rank 9. Had a family walk, which was supposed to be an exercise, but it turned out to just be a walk this evening. A little frustrated with the kids because we were trying to get some exercise in. But as I reflect on it, it was good family time. So I'll give family a 9 there. Personal, I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm taking off Friday from work. Not going anywhere, not really doing anything, but I'm taking off, and that's causing me to give that a 9 because I'm looking forward to a long weekend. And then mental, likewise, jumping on this podcast, seeing you brothers, having a conversation that's really putting me up there. So I'm going to put that to a 9. I'm going to just do 9 across the board, man. I'm just doing 9 across the board tonight.
That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. So what do we have next?
Let's see. We got.
Is it the disclaimer coming up next?
It's the disclaimer. That's exactly what it is. So usually Cal does this for us, but you're gonna deal with me tonight, right? So I'm going to run out our disclaimer, and then we're gonna roll into our topic of the evening. Super excited to be able to share with this with you guys. So this content is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or otherwise qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding your condition. Never disregard professional advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you've heard or read from our podcast. If you are in a crisis or you think you have an emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. If you are having suicidal thoughts, call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255 to talk to a skilled, trained counselor at a crisis center in your area at any time. If you are located outside of the United States, call your local emergency line immediately. Breathe Easy Media is not a direct service organization. Breathe Easy Media does not recommend or endorse any clinicians, counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, physicians, products, procedures, options, or opinions or anything of the sort that is mentioned on our podcast. Reliance on any information provided by Breathe Easy Media hosts of Breathe Easy Media guests or others appearing on Breathe Easy Media platform is solely at your own risk. So now that I know, right? That's
everything.
We cover all the bases, right? The lawyers got us. The lawyers got us tight.
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, right? As much as we kind of kid around that's really serious. If you found that you're triggered by anything that you might have heard on any of our podcasts, by all means, please engage with a mental health professional. The whole point of this podcast is really to destigmatize mental health, right? It is nothing wrong with you taking care of you, right? What we're going to talk about is you taking care of you physically and how that has an effect on your mental state, of course. So if that is commonplace, we certainly want to make sure that you take care of yourself mentally and psychologically. So here's the topic of the evening. We have an exciting topic. How exercise affects your mental health. You see, it's really interesting, right? I did a bit of research before jumping into the topic here this evening. I read a couple scientific journals, right? One was the Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Journal, or the Journal of Psychiatric Mental Health, and a few others. And I found some interesting statistics. And in those statistics, they're nothing new, right? These are statistics, or this is information that's been around for decades. But when we're ready to receive is when we're ready to receive. One thing that really stuck out for me was that in the journal, and I quote, it says, evidence has suggested that exercise may be an often neglected intervention in mental health care. Right. So when I saw that in the journal, I was like, that's rather interesting. Right. Because when we're looking at mental health, we're really just thinking about the mental rather. And we're not taking into account how the physical, or at that time, how the physical has an impact on our psychological states. Another quote that really got me in this journal as well was this, right? It says, lifestyle modifications can assume especially great importance in individuals with serious mental illnesses, right? And when they mean by lifestyle modifications, they're really talking about exercise. And certainly if it can support people with serious mental illnesses, it can support the entire spectrum of mental health. Many of those individuals are at a high risk of chronic disease associated with, being stationary for a long period of time, and medication side effects. That was a key thing that really triggered for me, was that, people are taking medications, and every medication, including the Tylenol that you take for a headache, has a side effect. And the way that we often don't think of the side effects, and we often don't know how to go ahead and exercise those side effects out of our system. But what this journal was really suggesting was that the act of movement and exercise can be a great support system in mental health and wellness, and certainly as a side effect of medications are taken in some of those conditions. I have a whole bunch of other notes there, but I really just want to kind of dig into the topic, to our guest Malcolm here, right? Malcolm, if you would, kind sir, please introduce yourself to these great people that we have out here.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for even thinking about me. It's truly an honor to be here with y'all tonight to share with y'all. But my name is Malcolm. Like to say, I'm a husband, I'm a father, beautiful wife, three beautiful daughters. And I am also a certified personal trainer. I do group fitness, outdoor group fitness, adult group fitness. So boot camps is what most people would call it. I do boot camps. And so, yeah, that's kind of me, in a nutshell, so to speak.
So Malcolm, talk to us early childhood, let's say around 5 or 6. Have you always been involved in fitness in some aspect or another? So I'm originally from Midland, Odessa area. So if you've ever seen the movie or read the book Friday Night Lights, yes, it is everything. They said football is religion. Yes, they really do shut down the whole city to watch football game. Yeah, so I'm from that area originally. And so growing up in that area, it's you have three choices. You have either play sports, you either sold drugs, or you worked in the oil field. That's pretty much your three choices, right? And so at a young age, the neighborhood kids, we started with football, then went to basketball, then went to baseball. Summer we ran track. And so for me, I didn't want to be the only one not participating. So I've always been an athlete, just because that was the environment. And plus my older brother at the time he was one of the top high school football running backs in the country. And he was my hero. I wanted to be just like him. I remember
I still remember to this day very vividly, because he's 10 years older than me. So, when I was, 6, 7, he was in, high school. So I just remember every Friday, went to the football game. And then he would bring home literally just shoe boxes full of recruiting letters. And so I just remember that. And so it was always, I wanted to be like him. He was my hero. And so I did what my brother did. I would pretty much follow him around any chance I got. And so I've always been an athlete. And then when I moved, so 10 years old, we moved to Austin. My mom packed us up, moved to Austin, and it just really continued from there. Football. And it was here that I really fell in love with basketball. And then that's when I just really stuck with that one sport once I moved here.
And y'all can't see it on camera, but Malcolm, he's got some height on him. When he showed up to the house, I opened the door. I'm like, hey, what's up? So I'm 5'9" and he's towering over me. So
that's the story of my life, man.
Yeah.
So I am like 6'3". I'll say 6'3". You usually gotta say 6'4". My wife lets me know 6'3". She will not give me the inch.
Yeah, I like to say that I'm 5'4" and a half. Right? Like I said, story of my life. I'll just be looking up. Hey, yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, hey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're a girl dad, Malcolm?
Yes, I am. Like I said, 3 beautiful daughters, 9, 7, and 5. 9, 7, 5. So just
you're right in the thick of it.
I don't know. I don't know what we were thinking, but here we are. And I will not ever trade it for the world. It's amazing. It's caused me to get a few more gray hairs. The beard is turning. I keep the hair long because if I cut it, it's gonna be nothing but gray. So,
so I wonder, right? So it's interesting, girl dad, right? Chris is our girl dad. 3 kids. I have 2, and I'm like, I'm bald, right? Because I'm pulling my hair out, right? Because of the kids and everything else that's going on. How do you, manage, being an awesome father, great husband, and, your dedication to your craft of, physical wellness in support, of people's goals and ambitions? Wow.
So a lot of times I feel like I'm failing at all 3. For me, how do I balance all of that? I have to set boundaries. I know when I have to, and it's taken me a while. 9 years of marriage, I'm still learning. But I've come to realize like there's certain triggers that I notice like within my wife when I know she needs quality time. There's certain triggers within my kids that I realize when they need me home, they need me present. And then being a trainer, it's pretty much 24/7. But I have to, I've learned to kind of set those boundaries as well. Like, 9 o'clock, my phone, I don't answer text messages. So if any of my people are watching this, don't take it personal. It's just a boundary that I had to learn how to set. I mean, because there would be, I would get text messages 10, 11 p.m. at night, and I would answer. I mean, it's just what I did. Like, I love what I do. But I had to quickly realize, like, I have to set those boundaries. And then also I have to also take care of my physical health as well. Because I have to live what I preach.
So going back to your upbringing in sports, what impact do you think being involved in sports, or really for any matter, for any of our viewers, physical activity at a young age, how do you think that shaped you moving forward?
Well, it played a big role for me. When I was younger, I wouldn't talk. I was a mama's boy. Let's just get it out there. I was a mama's boy. And so I would be around my mom all the time. And I really wouldn't speak. And so sports really, I found out I was uber competitive. Like, I want to win. Mm-hmm. Point blank period. I want to win. If I didn't win, I was crying. And on top of that, sports really not only brought me out of my shell, but I've met my best friends, my brothers for life. I met them through basketball, football, just being around, being in that environment. And so it really helped me socially to grow socially. And so sports just played a huge impact on me.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, right? Because in my research, right, I'm by far not an expert here, but in my preparation for this conversation, that was one of the points that they highlighted, right? That be it sports or just getting out of a routine or getting into a routine of exercise, especially in a social context, right? Boot camps or just going to the gym and you're seeing other people, has a profound positive effect on one's mental state, right? You know, certainly folks, the analogy that they were using in a particular journal I was looking at were folks who suffer from depression or anxiety or stress. Certainly stress and anxiety, I think we all have some level and degree that we deal with that. But that, you know, getting out, having an exercise regimen, you know, either socially or even by yourself, and just getting out of your normal, you know, confines, this room, which is my everything, my office, my relaxation area, just getting outside has profound effects. You said a little bit earlier, Malcolm, that you do, you know, outside boot camp. You emphasize outside. I imagine you did that because it's we're in a pandemic, it's COVID time. But you know, I wonder if you can share any thoughts that you have on exercise, and especially in the elements, right, in nature.
Well, yeah, we're definitely in the elements. Rain or shine, we're outside. And so for me, I just noticed a difference in the people that I train. When from the time they show up versus the time they leave, it's like two completely different people, right? They show up with all the stresses of life, work, family, all the things that go on in our day-to-day lives. And so that 1 hour that they have with me and the people around them, you know, the environment is friendly, it's motivating, it can get competitive. And so for that hour, they're able to just block out whatever's going on. And so that when they leave, you know, their mood is different. You know, their shoulders are up a little higher, right? They're not slouching. They're more confident, and you can just see it. You know, maybe they notice they got a little bit faster. Maybe they notice they got a little bit stronger. And just seeing that bring that confidence out in them, man, it's really, really fulfilling when I'm able to notice that. And a lot of times, you know, it goes without saying. It's just stuff that I notice, you know, and you know, and then having someone motivate them, encourage them, really makes a difference. And that is what makes CG Camp Gladiator really one of a kind. Because you have people.
It's funny because, and I don't know if Malcolm knew this, but before I follow him on Instagram, so I'm watching your workouts and everything, and I'm like, man, I could do that. I played sports in high school, so I, try to do some of the things that you do, and I'm like, mentally I'm there, but the body just won't do it no more.
Definitely. So, I mean, with that being said, I train about 90% women, right? And I'm always like, hey, get the husbands out, and it's like pulling teeth. And I think with us, it's a pride thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to show up to boot camp with your wife and she running circles around you, because
Right.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Like the wife has been coming, then the husband finally comes, and he's the wife is all doing her thing, and then you look over and the husband's like. So,
hey, that's the truth, man. That's me. That is me. I remember this one time. We were at, I don't remember which gym it was, but we decided we were going to do a personal trainer together. Right? They had us on special. I said, "Yeah, I could do this stuff, man. I'm doing it. I'm feeling winded. I'm like, man, what? I'm looking over at my wife, and she just keep going. I'm like, what is going on? I'm how am I winded and she not? Next thing you know, by the end of the class, man, I felt like I wanted to throw up. And she's like, "Are you okay, honey?" Never did a class with her again. No.
Yep. Yeah, I've attended CG on a couple of occasions, and for my personal pride, I have not been back, and that's the reason why. Got to make sure, in my mind, I hold myself in high regard physically. Now, when I'm actually out there performing, that might be a different story. But
man, in my mind, I'm Hercules, yo.
Right.
I'm straight Hercules. We got a question from the audience. It says, Malcolm, are your daughters in sports outside school activities too? How do you work out around their sports and activity schedules?
That's a good question. Good question. That is something we are diving into this summer. So this will be the first year that they're into sports. And they're so far they're doing swimming lessons every Saturday. They start dance, I believe, next week. Now, don't quote me on this. My wife is the schedule maker and keeper. My wife is the one that makes sure the family is on task. I'm just like, tell me when to show up, tell me how much it is, and I'm there. So yeah, they're gonna do volleyball, basketball. They're doing all the things that you can imagine this summer. And so for how are we going to balance all of that? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Now I don't train every single day. So I'm mainly my evening trainings are only Monday and Wednesday. And so any Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm there. And I'm gonna be there no matter what. The only thing I really don't show up to are the swim lessons, because they're more one-on-one, and I don't want them focused on me. I want them focused on the lesson. Because if you have daughters, you know that they're daddy's girls through and through. And so when I in situations like that, I don't want the focus to be on me, right? But for sports, I'm gonna be there. I know how important it was for me having my mom there to cheer me on, even though she was the loudest person in the gym. It still meant it was just different. It meant the world when I knew she was there versus when I knew she wasn't.
Well, and that brings up another question, right? So I'm sure you hear all types of excuses as to why people aren't showing up on a consistent basis. What advice would you give to people who just say, I'm just too busy? Like, and I feel like if it's something that you're committed to and it's important to you, you just find the time. Everybody has 24 hours in the day, so you have to make the time. But what advice would you give to people who are struggling with fitting it into their schedule and staying consistent?
Like you said, we all have 24 hours. You don't have to. One thing about exercise, you don't have to do it for an hour. You don't have to do it for 30 minutes. If you can find 10 minutes to be active, whether that's going on a walk, going on a quick jog around the block, going outside and chasing your dog and your kids around. That's I'm not gonna say that's all you need, but that's definitely a start. Just start small. A lot of times we put these lofty goals in front of us, and we get discouraged when either those goals are not happening fast enough, or they just become they're just too big, too lofty. So I like to say, start small. If you can be set a set amount of days just to be active. Just say, hey, I'm going to be active 3 days out of the week, no matter what activity that is. That can be rollerblading, riding a bike, whatever it is. Just be active. Do something, and then eventually it's going to just be what you do on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of the people that have success, that's what it's become. It's just something I do at this point. And so it's just a part of my everyday routine. And so those are the people that I see have the most success. But for the people who are just starting, just start. Just start.
And I like that distinction, right? Because usually it's like, oh, you got this 30-minute workout or this hour workout, 45-minute workout. I like the distinction that you placed there on, look, just 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a good starting point, and having consistent, 10-minute workouts or 10-minute activity movement is a good place to start.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, and this is an interesting story, and Ralph, I don't think you're even aware of this. Talk to us. Well, let me back up. We'll get to that in a second, but talk to us about your journey into becoming what's the correct term? Fitness instructor, boot camp instructor?
Just certified personal trainer. Just
certified
CPT.
personal trainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to us about your journey into becoming a certified personal trainer. Your why behind it and what kind of led you down that path.
Okay. So for me, like when we were talking earlier, and I was like, I worked at Costco for 9 years. Amazing company. Nothing against amazing company. But like I said, I used to sit on that cash register ringing stuff and just look out the door like, one day I will not have to be here. One day I'm going to have a job where I can wear t-shirts and tennis shoes all the time. I hated my button-up polo. I just hated it. And so at that time, right, like I said earlier, I'm 6'3". At that time, I was maybe 150 pounds, right? So I've always been super skinny, super thin, tall and thin. And so one day I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of being tall and skinny, right? I'm tired of it. And so I just started working out. Some coworkers invited me to the gym. I didn't know what I was doing. So I just started, right? I just started meeting up with them every morning, 5 a.m., lifting weights, just following along. And then I got up to about 205-ish pounds. Right, I looked like a tank at that time. It was insane. And then one night, my wife was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about, doing this, like getting certified as a trainer?" No, not really. But so after that conversation led to me just kind of researching how to become a certified personal trainer, and I found an actual personal trainer school that had a real class, and so I signed up, and so every Saturday for about 4 months, I spent 6 hours in a classroom learning how to be a personal trainer. So once I got certified, a middle school friend of mine reached out to me. He was a trainer with Camp Gladiator. He reached out to me. I ignored him for about a month, and then one day I was like, okay, I'll take the meeting. 2 days later, I was at I went to his workout one morning, and it was just different, right? It was literally 90 people in a school parking lot at 5 a.m, high-fiving, cheering each other on. And I was like, what is this? It's different. And literally the next day after that, I was trying out. Never been a trainer in my life before that. I tried out and I made it. I don't know how. So that was my journey to becoming a personal trainer.
It's a crazy journey.
5:30 in the morning. Oh,
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do that on the regular, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that alarm goes off at about 4:15 a.m.
Ooh. And out there in the elements, because we're in Austin, so it don't get crazy cold, but it gets below freezing some days for sure. And then the wind.
You out there when it cold like that too?
Oh yeah. So I think the coldest I've been out there, of course, when we had our little, whatever you want to call it, freeze over this past winter, we wasn't out. That was the only time we shut down. But other than that, I've been out there when it was 19 degrees. 19 degrees. You just layer up and I'm out there. I got to show up.
Oh, man. So, and this is an amazing story, and this is what I was going to get into earlier. Talk to us about Camp Gladiator as a company and kind of their come up story and how they came to be.
Crazy story. All right. So Camp Gladiator, it's as far as business goes, it's a really young business. It's a really young company. I want to say 13 years in existence. And so what happened was the co-founder, Allie and Jeff, right? They're getting married. And I believe they're gonna kill me if I don't tell the story right. Right. So I believe it was their wedding day. And there were some American Gladiator tryouts like down the street. So Allie and Jeff, if you met them or know them, they're complete opposite. So Allie is outgoing, like she can cheer up a cemetery type person. And Jeff is like business minded, just really book smart and just really laid back. So two totally different people. And so somehow she convinced them to go try out for American Gladiator. Somehow, some way, they make it, and then she ends up winning the show. Right, so she takes the prize money and starts Camp Gladiator. And so it started out as a kids camp, but then when kids went back to school, she was kind of like, "What do I do?" Well, they have parents, and so she started a boot camp. She likes to say she started in a parking lot with a stack of cones, and that was it. And from there, they one trainer at a time. They convinced trainers to believe in the vision. And here we are, over 1,000 trainers later. Here we are, and we're in, I want to say 7 states, and expanding every single year. So yeah, crazy.
That's pretty awesome. That's motivating, because to be out there in 19 degrees, that gotta be a wicked vision, you know what I mean? Oh man, we have a question out here regarding your class sizes. It says, "How do you adapt or change your class size and protocols due to the pandemic? Given Camp Gladiator was already outdoors, do you limit your class sizes?"
So I'm in Texas, so it's a little bit different. Texas don't really have no protocol. But at the height of the pandemic, yes, we limited class size. First it was can't have more than 50 people. Then it was you can't have more than 20. Then it got down to like, all right, you can't have more than like 5 people attend. And we had the social distance, which we're outside, so that part, the social distancing part, is very easy to do for the most part. But how we adapted and made it through the pandemic, we had to go virtual. So we started training via Zoom, which was pretty cool. It's different, right? There's no really high five in it. It's like, I'm the energy versus in person when, you have someone next to you, right? It's different, but I can say it has allowed us to reach more people, right? Because now there's no limits, right? A person doesn't have to actually live in a CG city, right? The internet connects everyone. And then, yeah. And so now, like I said, Texas is just, there's no protocols right now in Texas. So I can have as many people as I want. But even then, I still try to be responsible. I try to limit the sharing of equipment, and limit, try to keep everybody still distance.
Malcolm, you're getting some love here in the comments. Daniela said Malcolm is a wonderful trainer who is supportive, doesn't give up on anyone, and takes time to get to know his campers. And that's a Camp Gladiator term, I guess. His campers, and makes everyone feel welcome and a part of the CG family.
Hey, Danny. Hey, Danny. Hey.
So that leads to another question, right? Because there's the actual physical working out and the campers showing up, whether it be virtually or in person. But then there's the other aspect, which I've heard you are like phenomenal at, which is motivating them just to get their butt to camp. Talk to us about that and kind of your methodology behind that.
Well, for one, I always ask someone their why, right? Once I know their why, I know I always have some button that I can push, that will make them say, you know what, you're right. You just have to constantly remind people, right? Sometimes we forget as we go through life, as life happens to us, we forget. And so I'm always there to remind you, like, hey, you said you wanted to do this because of your kids, or your confidence, or something to that of that effect. And so I always have something in my pocket that I know I can push to get them out and just remind them. And a lot of times I know they feel like I'm trying to make them feel guilty, and I'm not. I'm just there to remind you, like, hey, we had a conversation, and this is why you said this was important to you. So here's just a little reminder that, hey, this is important to you. Let's make it happen.
How do you support them in finding their why? If somebody isn't clear on their why, what do you do to help support them in finding their why?
So for me, I just ask, like, hey, why is working out important to you? Why is losing 30 pounds important to you? And so there's just little questions that you can ask, and then little by little they'll open up and then tell you the real reason, A lot of times they try to give you a little just kind of vague answer, just to answer it. And I'm like, I can always tell, right? I've been doing this long enough. I've talked to enough people that I know. It's kind of like your parent, right? Your parents know when you're lying.
Yeah, that they do.
It's like that. And so I just, just constantly just probing, hey, it's just a normal conversation. But I do have like ulterior motives when I'm having this conversation, just because I need to know it's important.
So go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, those are good ulterior motives, right? I mean, you're supporting their physical, their mental health. I mean, sometimes we all need nudges, right? Sometimes it's even kicks in the butt, but it's that motivation to get up, get out, and do something to take care of ourselves.
Right. Yeah, and I've kind of put myself in that position. Like, how would I answer that? And I know for me, I go to the gym and I'm lifting weights hardcore because I'm more, I'm like, oh, I gotta look good. I may not be able to run a quarter mile, but at least I look fit. So talk to us about the difference between the two. Is it a good idea to have a mix, which I think I know the answer to? But do you see any reason why some people just gravitate towards, doing high impact, or is it called high impact, high intensity, versus just lifting weights?
So for me, I'm gonna say there's I'm trying to get the right wording. So for me, no, for me, it's a do both, right? If you can do both, do both. Now I understand it just really depends on your goals, right? It depends on your goals, right? So some people, like I said, they just want to look good, right? They want to have the guys, we want to have big chests. We want to do the pec dance a lot of times, right? And so that's why guys tend to go with the heavy lifting, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. For me, I like to think as a trainer, the more I know about the human body, the more I learn. For me, I'm always, in my eyes, I'm like, okay, when have I personally felt the best? And it was when I felt athletic. All right. And so when I can run, when I can jump, and I feel strong, right? That's when I feel like I'm at my best. And I've done, just the straight weightlifting, and like I said, I got up to 205 pounds. But when I was there, yeah, I looked good, but I felt slow. I felt like I couldn't jump, I couldn't run. It was hard to scratch my back. Like I just like movement, like being able to move is like really important to me. And so for me, I'm gonna say a mix of both is the perfect world, right? Because athletes, they look good too, right? And so that for me, that's why I'm gonna say that. And a lot of it also comes from what's being pushed out from the media, right? A fit guy usually looks like a bodybuilder. And so that's what's glorified, when you're on Instagram, and the trainers with the shirt off and the big chest, and the women in the comments going crazy. Like that's what's pushed out. But that's not necessarily good or necessarily bad. It just depends on what you want to accomplish.
Okay, so you have a camper that comes to you and says, I want to lose 100 pounds in, let's say, a month. Something unrealistic, and it's unrealistic. And I think a lot of us get into this position and we're looking for a quick solution to something that's going to take some time. What advice are you giving those people?
Like I said, I'm always gonna preach longevity, So this, I mean, we're in a microwave society where we want things quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? We want drive through abs, right? We want to pull up, order our abs, and take off, right? And that's just not how fitness works. And a lot of times, like I said, through the media, through social media, we're pushed 30-day challenges, 60-day challenges, 90-day challenges. Yeah, they're good in the short term, but you want to make lifestyle changes are completely different. A lifestyle change, it takes time. Think about it. From birth, we have certain habits, right? A person doesn't gain 100 pounds overnight. That 100 pounds is a buildup of the past 5, 10, 20 years, right? So in order to lose that, right, expect another 5, 10, 20 years, right? You didn't gain it in 30 days. Why are you trying to lose it in 30 days?
Malcolm, you tell it like it is, but in a nice way. I see why your campers like you. And on a side note, I've also heard you have the best playlist and best music at the camps too. So for whatever reason, people gravitate towards that. It obviously motivates them to show up.
Yeah. I take pride in the music, in the music selection. Yeah, and that's like the reputation of, or you go to Malcolm, you know what you're gonna get. It's also my personality. It's who I am. And I try to kind of play the music that I thought people wanted to hear. And then they'll quickly let me know, nah, this is not you. Turn it right now. And so from that point on, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna play what I would like to hear, something that motivates me, something that represents me and where I come from and the culture that I grew up in. So yeah.
Hey, the fitness DJ. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Diet. Talk to us about the diet, because I know you can't have, the working out and the fitness aspect without a good diet as well.
What you mean? I can't have my cake and eat it too?
Right.
So this is probably the toughest part for people to get down, right? Because, like I said, through the media, we've been at one point told that carbs make you fat. That's a lie. Let me tell y'all right now, that is a lie, right? Carbs do not make you fat. What makes people fat is, or gain weight, is intaking more calories than we're burning, right? So just kind of think, right? The American diet, right? Like I said, fast food. We're a fast food society. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a Whataburger fanatic, right? I can have Whataburger every single day, all right? I want that every single day. If you don't know what Whataburger is, it's a Texas thing. But the diet. So for me, I am I'm a fan of just being balanced, right? Being balanced. I'm not gonna personally tell you not to have anything, right? For one, I'm married to a baker. So cakes, muffins, I get all that, right? So I'm just gonna tell you just to be balanced, right? You can have, you can have your margarita, you can have your cake, you can have the things that you love. You just gotta know when enough is enough, when too much is too much, and just try to be balanced, right? So you want to have some kind of protein, whether you're vegan, whether you're pescatarian, or you eat meat, or all the things. Have be balanced. Have that protein. Have your veggies. I do notice we don't eat enough veggies. And then other than that, I try to teach serving sizes, right? So lifestyle changes, right? A lot of times our meat is the biggest thing on the plate, right? And so I try to teach people no, but I try to teach it in a way that they're gonna still enjoy what they eat, right? Not you don't have to be a rabbit. You don't have to eat lettuce and cucumbers all day every day. Just be balanced, because for one, that's the diet that has stood the test of time. No matter what new diet comes out, just being balanced has stood the test of time.
I love that you said that. I'm a rabbit. I eat just veggies, but what I found in my vegan journey is that there is a whole slew of things that you can eat, and how you could prepare it, and it tastes delicious.
Right.
So shout out to the vegans.
Yeah.
Danny has an awesome question here. She says, and I apologize, I heard you call her Danny, so I just went in to call her Danny. How do you stay consistently positive, and what advice would you give to someone who is hard on themselves?
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. How do I stay positive consistently? For one, I am my worst critic. Now my daughters are probably starting to take that title from me. But for me, I know I don't show up with my problems. Now life isn't perfect. Things happen. It is what it is. And so for me, when I show up, it's not about me. When I show up to camp, it's not about me at that point. It's about them. I'm there to serve. And so once I adapt that mindset, it's actually pretty easy, because at that point it's not about me. As selfish as I want to be, for that hour or those hours, it's about them. It's 100% about them. And little do they know, they inspire me. They motivate me just as much as I motivate them, if not more. Seeing them accomplish things, seeing them, get their confidence back. That does something for me, because in my head I'm just little old me, right? And so when they let me know those things, it really brings me up as well.
That's awesome, man. To be a servant, right, in that work is amazing. So what about because I'm like you, right? I'm super hard on myself, right? If I can't, lift a weight that I used to lift, a month ago, I would be, all hard on myself. But so how do you support somebody in that mindset? How do you help them kind of overcome some of that self-talk?
I just got to remind them that it's one day at a time. It might not be today, but we're going to get to that point at some time. Whether that's in a month, whether that's in a year, whether that's in 2 years. I just remind them, you keep showing up, eventually something's going to happen, right? So, you keep digging, eventually you're going to find something. And so just being consistent, and just having the long game in mind.
Malcolm, for our first guest, you lighten up the comments in the chat. You definitely got people throwing some love your way, man. I love it.
So Malcolm, like we said earlier, right? You are the first. It hasn't been anyone before you. So you got a trophy, you got a T-shirt, you got everything, man. We definitely appreciate you, coming out and gracing us with your knowledge, certainly your presence here on the Breathe Easy podcast. we try to be really conscious of the time. We know it's kind of late in the evening for many folks on the East Coast. Some folks on the West Coast is still early, and they're in Central. You know what it is. And my camera just went out again. Wanted to kind of wrap it up, right? Kind of put a bow rather, around this awesomeness that we had here tonight. What are some parting words that you would share with our audience here?
Like I said earlier, find something that you enjoy and do it. Do it consistently. Like I said, eventually, you're going to reach whatever goal that you have. And don't be afraid to ask for help. As a trainer, I know I'm here for you, and I have to constantly remind people. And because they think they're bothering me, and I'm like, no, I'm actually sitting, waiting on my phone to go off because I want to help. I don't succeed unless you succeed. And so, just reach out to me. What do you need help with? So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't feel like you're a burden to someone, because a lot of times people are waiting to help you. They want to see you succeed. And so,
Malcolm, because you've got quite a fan club here, but for the people who aren't familiar with you, where can they find you at on social media?
So my social media handles are all the same: MacJ_fit, MACJ_FIT on Instagram and TikTok. I'm starting to love TikTok a lot, so I spend a lot of time on there. But I'm also on Instagram as well.
All right. Ralph, you got any final words? Do you want to let them know what the topic is for next week? Because it's going to be a great one.
Final words is hit up Malcolm, right? If you're not in the Austin area, certainly, he talked about how you can join Camp Gladiator virtually. And enjoy some of the workouts that's there. Apparently, he has the best playlist. He's the fitness DJ. So if you're not working out, at least you go party and dance with him as he's doing his thing. Topic for next week, guys. We're so happy that you guys could join us tonight. We appreciate Malcolm here and as our first guest, right? And topic for next week is pretty interesting. We're going to have another guest. Right, it is going to be policing in the Black community. Policing in the Black community. We're going to have a detective from the Baltimore Police Department. He's going to come in and he's going to share with us his knowledge and share with us, especially from a mental health standpoint, what it is, how policing and as it relates to the community that they police in. So if you are haven't already joined us on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, we invite you to like, subscribe, share, and follow on all of those platforms. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, this one's a wrap. It was fun, definitely informative. I love the love that you're getting in the comments, people showing up for you. It's just a testament to how much you've put into them and how much they appreciate you. So Malcolm, definitely appreciate having you on the show. Would love to have you on as a guest again. And this has been Breathe Easy Podcast. We will see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.